An empath may be very sensitive to how others feel. If they feel others don't want them to be around, they will remove themselves. The next sign is that the empath feels grounded. When they are bored or don't really want to be somewhere, they often escape using their imaginations and travel to places far, far away, often to other worlds or galaxies. Basically, everywhere but here. I would argue that there is not just a quality of empathy. Many non-empaths have done the same when they are bored. The main difference is where they think. Low-level empaths may focus on mundane matters such as sport, their partners, potential or otherwise, or their hobbies. A high level of empath has a greater tendency to migrate out of this world and life. It is a form of astral travel with the mind. Some call it mind travel, others call it mind manipulation. It is a part of your being that travels to another place, time, or dimension and interacts or simply observes. This is quite common with mediums, although many consider it a dream, but as you well know, it is real and can affect things on both the astral and physical planes. I have noticed that the stronger the attraction to something, the more real it seems. Usually yes, although it's all true, many of the answers to your past and why you are here in this life can be found by following the stories you experience when you think. But aren't these just stories we make up as we go along? You do it when you go out. What do you think the creative process is like? Just because you're doing it at a different level doesn't mean it's not valid. Just because people believe that this third-dimensional plane is the only reality doesn't mean that it is. We should be happy it isn't, because it would make very little sense if it were all. Okay, is mind travel good for empathy and is it safe? Divine utility and divine security. Helpful because it helps them deal with empathy, and safe because no harm can come from it. Mind wandering is a tool, and the use of that tool depends on how useful it is for empathy. Where your focus is usually where you are, even though we are multidimensional beings that exist on many levels at once. Since the focus is usually on this 3D plane, your awareness is primarily here. If you decide to consider traveling or are drawn to experience something that feels like a fantasy or dream, the nature of your activity will determine whether it is useful as an empath. It really depends on what are you trying to achieve. This is not the correct answer. A simple yes or no would suffice. It would, but then you would have to explain why. If you use mind travel to visit others on the astral planes and gather information about them to help them or help them deal with negative energies, then yes, it's helpful. Empathy? No. Although an empath can take the information they gather, extract the feelings from it, and use it to help the other person, or use it to make the next decision they should make. When it comes to this topic, it is wise to connect with someone only as long as you need to get the information you are looking for. If you stay connected or forget to disconnect, your energies can affect your energy or drain you on an energetic level. That's why it's important to disconnect from any source of energy you are exploring. Unless it's a source that helps raise and renew your own energies, such as nature or your higher energies. This also helps answer another question. Is it safe? While you cannot harm your soul as you progress, you can affect it in ways that are not desirable. Feeling exhausted or bombarded with negative energies cannot be heavily sustained for long without negatively affecting your mental well-being, let alone your physical. However, it should be noted that some people have placed spider or black seals. Seals are located in energetic places in our energy centers, and if we choose to remove them before we are ready, we can release more energy than we are ready to receive, which can lead to exhaustion. And exhaustion means exhaustion, or an emotional, mental, or even physical level. So if you see something black, don't automatically assume it's an attack. You feel if you should leave it in place. Cells are removed in time. So no, mind travel is not always safe, but it is safer than an out-of-body experience where you can enter the reality of a much stronger presence. It can still happen during mind trips, but your body helps you and it's much harder to get caught up or pulled into something you didn't mean to do. Either way, if you keep going with love and pure intent and don't let fear lure you, you will always get through it. Is it possible that you are not well? Everything will be alright in the end. There is no way it won't end when everyone goes back to who they really are. However, there are things along the way that can make the journey much more difficult and traumatic than it needs to be. The biggest danger is that people can become trapped in a reality that can be similar to their idea of hell. Hell is the total absence of God in your life, or rather the perceived absence of God, because no one is ever left out. It's not even possible for that to happen. If you play with things you don't fully understand, you can accidentally create responses that aren't pleasant. So, any final words of sympathy on this topic? Simple advice: whatever you choose to do, let it be a reflection of who you really are. So be it. Don't do it. When you are, nothing can stop you. However, the last word should be about the baselessness that this section is about. Empathy is usually unwarranted because it doesn't want to be here, and it's usually due to a lack of self-confidence, although, as noted, boredom also exists. Lack of self-confidence is actually one of the main factors that many empaths struggle with. It is a strange fact that people do not accept their own experiences as real. They would rather listen to someone else say it's all in their imagination than believe their own evidence.